What is up? YouTube. How y'all doing, y'all? Hey, the temperature is changing. It's getting a little nicer outside. And let's get into this video, man. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Check this out. This been up here for a little while. Shocking court footage. What? Yella Beezy sentenced. Goodbye forever? Wait a minute. Should we do this? Oh man, let's see what this is about, because this been up here for 3 or 4 days. I thought he got off. I think he out. Y'all let me know in the comments, is he out? We're gonna do this anyway, man, because we behind. We behind, baby. So hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check it out.
Yella Beezy thought he had outrun the streets, but the past always catches up. The Dallas rapper, once riding high off fame and fortune, now sits behind bars, sentenced for the brutal murder of his longtime rival, 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦. With a capital murder charge hanging over his head, the stakes are higher than ever, and Beezy might not be able to escape the needle, as the rapper looks destined to take his final breath behind bars.
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
Yella Beezy faces sentencing for 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 murder. Yella Beezy, real name 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦, saw his whole life undergo a 360-degree change when cops showed up at his home on Thursday, hoping to bring him to justice for a crime he thought he had gotten away with. The Dallas rapper, once known for his viral hits and flashy lifestyle, now finds himself behind bars, facing the most serious charge of his life, capital murder. Authorities believe Beezy played a major role in the 2020 shooting death of his longtime rival 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦, whose real name was Melvin Noble.
A manhunt is still underway after a deadly shooting along I-35, not far from the Dallas Zoo. Investigators say when the suspect walked up to the victim's car, the victim got out and tried to run away. The suspect shot him in broad daylight right there on the highway.
For years, fans speculated that their feud was more than just rap beef, but no one expected police to officially tie Beezy to the crime nearly 4 years later. The indictment accuses Beezy of orchestrating the hit by employing 22-year-old 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 to carry out the murder, allegedly promising him payment for the job. On the morning of November 11, 2020, 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 was traveling northbound on Interstate 35E near Illinois Avenue when his...
Yeah, he's out. It says Yella Beezy, he posted bail, so he's out. He's out on bail, so let's see how that goes. Let's keep going.
His life was cut short in a hail of gunfire. According to reports, a suspect, believed to be white, chased him down and shot him multiple times before fleeing in a black Chevy Camaro. 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 was rushed to the hospital, but the injuries proved fatal. White was later arrested and sentenced to 9 years in federal prison for weapons charges related to the shooting, while another suspect, Devin Maurice Brown Jr., was also taken into custody. Yet for years, questions remained about who really ordered the hit. That question was finally answered when Dallas authorities made their move against Beezy. The rapper was booked into Dallas County Jail, where he remains held on a $2 million bond. His arrest sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world, confirming long-standing suspicions that 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦's murder wasn't just random street violence, it was a planned execution. For Beezy, this latest arrest is just another chapter in a long history of legal troubles. Even before the indictment, he had racked up multiple run-ins with the law, including gun charges, a sexual assault allegation, and even a child endangerment case. Now, with capital murder on his record, he faces the possibility of never seeing the outside world again. But the streets of Dallas have long memories, and 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦's mother, Nicole Williams Noble, wasted no time reacting to the news. She took to Facebook shortly after Beezy's arrest, calling it justice and saying that she could finally have peace. Her post was flooded with comments from 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦's supporters, many of whom had been waiting years for closure. Meanwhile, Yella Beezy carried himself like a man who believed he was untouchable. In the aftermath of 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦's murder, he showed no signs of worry, moving as if he had nothing to do with it. Despite the streets buzzing with rumors about his involvement, he never changed his ways. Instead of laying low, he kept up his flashy lifestyle, flexing on Instagram with stacks of money, luxury jewelry, and high-end cars, acting like the tragedy hadn't fazed him, even when his name was thrown into the mix. He remained arrogant, convinced that there wasn't enough evidence to take him down. When Dontrell White, one of 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦's accused killers, was arrested, pictures of him and Beezy together started circulating, making people question just how deep their ties ran. Yet Beezy brushed it off. If anything, he seemed to be taunting 𝗟𝗡𝗞𝗏's supporters. At the start of 2021, he posted a video to Instagram celebrating the new year by saying he was putting his haters in the dirt, a statement many believed was a subliminal shot at 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗏 and his fans.
Hey man, new year, new blessings. You understand me? We made it through a hell of a year. You understand? Anybody that ain't for you, anybody that's going against you, anybody that's got negative, you understand me, ain't bringing no positive vibe. You know, in the words of Gucci, put that in the dirt, nigga.
This wasn't just rap beef, it was a chilling display of confidence like he thought he had already won, but the walls were closing in. In February 2021, Beezy was caught slipping when undercover officers arrested him after finding 5 firearms in a bulletproof SUV. He was moving like a man prepared for war, but instead of getting the message that the authorities were watching, he kept playing the game recklessly. His old rival and Yella's friend 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 also kept the flames alive, dropping diss tracks mocking Mo3's death and making it clear that their side had no remorse. But now, with a capital murder charge hanging over his head, Yella Beezy's future looks bleak. If convicted, he could be facing life in prison, or worse. And while the streets of Dallas were dangerous, the prison system comes with its own set of risks. Beezy won't just be another high-profile inmate, he'll be a marked man. Mo3's name still holds weight, and there's no telling who might be waiting for the chance to settle old scores behind bars. As Beezy steps into his new reality behind bars, he'll have enough time to think how his actions in an unnecessary feud with Mo3 had led to him losing everything. Inside the Yella Beezy versus Mo3 beef. The streets of Dallas weren't always divided between Yella Beezy and Mo3. Once, there was a time when the city's rising rap stars coexisted, taking pictures together, supporting one another, and sharing the same stages. But when fame and fortune started rolling in, so did old street politics, jealousy, and resentment. Mo3, a street-savvy artist with a gritty storytelling ability, made it clear that his rapid rise in the industry brought unseen enemies out of the woodwork. According to him, his success had made people from his past drag their grudges into the rap game. Even legendary Baton Rouge rapper 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 was drawn into the mix. At first, Boozy seemed to be a neutral player, fascinated by the talent Dallas had to offer. He took a particular interest in Mo3, appearing in vlogs with him, expressing admiration, and even collaborating on music. Mo3 embraced this cosign, adopting the moniker 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦 as a tribute to Boozy. Meanwhile, Yella Beezy was making strides in his own right. His street anthem, Trap and Designer, was generating buzz, and by the time he hit Say Cheese TV for an interview, he confidently listed the top rappers in Dallas, including himself, Mo3, 𝗟𝗡𝗡𝗞𝗦, 𝗗𝗢𝗡, and Lil Ronnie. At this point, things seemed cordial, if not outright friendly. However, as the industry spotlight grew brighter, the cracks began to show. In a May 2017 Say Cheese interview, Mo3 admitted that he and Yella Beezy had a misunderstanding, but claimed it had been resolved. He explained that they had met up in Dallas and squashed their issues, attributing the tension to miscommunication, possibly over a woman. Yella Beezy echoed the same sentiment in a later interview, suggesting that a female had stirred up drama between them. But despite their words, the peace wouldn't last long. As both artists gained more notoriety, the tension between them grew. Industry insiders noted that Mo3's rapid success often put him at odds with other local artists. Things took a deadly turn on May 27, 2017, when Mo3 attended a concert at Club Phantom in Fort Worth. What was meant to be a night of celebration ended in tragedy when gunfire erupted just before 4 a.m. A 31-year-old man, Hector Wilkins, known in the streets as Lil Half, was shot in the torso and later died in the hospital. Authorities immediately suspected a gang-related killing. Not long after, Mo3 found himself behind bars in a dramatic early morning raid at his home. In a later interview with 𝗟𝗡𝗞𝗡𝗞𝗦, Mo3 recalled the terrifying moment.
I heard a knock at the door. I mean, it was just me and my son. I heard beating at the door. Boom, boom. I'm like, before I even walked to the door, it hit me. I knew. I was like, oh, okay, okay. They was gonna kick the in, so I was like, hold up. So right when I opened the door, it's AR-15, big flashlight, and me and my son face.
Police charged him with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and slapped him with a $100,000 bond. Behind bars, Mo3 didn't let the situation shake him. In a phone interview, he spoke about the incident, joking that police treated him like a celebrity, letting him drive his own truck to jail and even stopping at McDonald's on the way. Mo3 would later reveal that he spent over $90,000 in legal fees trying to beat the case, leaving him broke. He claimed that police had arrested him based on rumors circulating on social media, but ultimately, the charges were dropped due to lack of evidence. As tensions between Mo3 and his contemporaries in the Dallas scene intensified, comedian Roy Lee found himself caught in the crossfire. Known for his humor and unfiltered takes, Roy Lee publicly called out the beef between the rappers, claiming that it was Mo3 against the entire Dallas-Fort Worth area. He often joked about the situation, but his words may have gone too far. Lee and Mo3 were very good friends, and it wasn't surprising that Lee supported him and started making jokes about his rivals. However, one person who didn't take this line down was Yella Beezy. Roy Lee threw shade at Yella Beezy in a real-life interview, mocking Beezy's claim to be from Oak Cliff, America, and daring him to come on up so we can rob you. This disrespect sparked a fight between Roy Lee and Yella Beezy at King of Diamonds nightclub in August 2017. Roy Lee later accused Beezy and his crew of jumping him, demanding a fair one-on-one fight.
I did an interview and I was talking about I ain't lying in the interview. You understand me? This beef ain't got nothing to do with nobody else but Yella Beezy and Roy Lee. This little boxing match ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
In subsequent interviews, Roy Lee continued to taunt Beezy, calling him a bitch, questioning his Oak Cliff roots, and even threatening to involve people's mothers and grandmothers. Roy Lee's relentless mockery escalated tensions, with Beezy refusing to fight him directly. The feud highlighted the growing animosity in Dallas's rap scene, with Roy Lee's comedic jabs adding fuel to an already volatile rivalry. In September 2018, Roy Lee was shot in the leg while sitting in a parking lot. Initially, it seemed like he would recover. He continued performing comedy shows and even posted social media videos about the shooting. However, weeks later, complications arose, and Roy Lee succumbed to blood clots that had formed due to his injuries. MO3 took Roy Lee's death personally. In an emotional interview with No Jumper, he showed off a chain dedicated to his fallen friend, saying he wasn't supposed to die like that. He was a comedian. Although nobody was saying it out loud, but many people believed Yella was responsible for Lee's death. On October 14th, 2018, just days after the death of Lee, Yella Beezy found himself the target of a violent ambush that nearly took his life. In the early hours of the morning, while driving along the Sam Rayburn Tollway, a car pulled up alongside him and unloaded more than a dozen shots into his vehicle. Hit multiple times, Beezy miraculously survived, though his injuries were severe. Authorities quickly responded to the scene, finding Beezy wounded but still conscious. He was rushed to a nearby hospital where he received emergency treatment. The news of his shooting spread rapidly, with fans and fellow rappers flooding social media with reactions. Many speculated that this was a direct retaliation for Roy Lee's death, given the tension brewing in the city. In an interview with The Breakfast Club, Beezy later recalled the terrifying moment. He explained that he had noticed suspicious cars trailing him after leaving a club and had been on high alert. When he realized he was being followed, it was already too late. The gunfire had erupted.
Find my phone, open the door, get out the car, I start running. You know what I'm saying? I get out the car, start running.
Were they chasing you? Or
nah,
they were gone?
I think they were gone. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't know. Like,
right.
I just know somebody came up beside and started shooting.
As Beezy recovered, MO3 remained silent about the incident. When pressed in interviews, he dodged questions about the shooting, making it clear he had no intention of discussing the situation publicly. While Beezy was recovering from his injuries, another incident further escalated the war between him and MO3. In July 2019, both rappers were booked to perform at the Unruly Citizens Festival at the Ford Center. However, when MO3 arrived at the venue, he was met by police officers who informed him he would not be allowed to enter. Meanwhile, Yella Beezy was permitted to perform without issue. Outraged, MO3 took to Instagram Live to vent his frustration. In the video, he accused Beezy and his team of using law enforcement to keep him out of the event.
He got me in the car and said, you had beef with a rapper. I don't have beef with no rapper. Well, that's what him and his team is saying. Him and his team are telling us that they don't want to be near you.
However, Yella Beezy quickly fired back, dismissing MO3's claims as desperate attempts for clout. According to Beezy, MO3 was never actually booked to perform at the festival in the first place. Man, stop playing, Beezy scoffed in his response. Ain't nobody on the same flyer as me. The back and forth didn't stop there. Trap Boy Freddy, another Dallas rapper aligned with Beezy, chimed in as well, mocking MO3 for supposedly faking an arrest to gain attention. Look at the flyer. He wanna be relevant, Freddy laughed. 2 days after the festival, Beezy appeared on Vlad TV, where he was asked about the incident. When Vlad mentioned MO3's name, Beezy smirked and replied,
Who? Mo3.
I don't know who that is.
This blatant dismissal only fueled MO3's anger, leading him to release the track Let Me Find Out, in which he directly called out Beezy. The diss track was a turning point. No longer just subtle jabs in interviews, MO3 was now making it clear that he saw Beezy as an enemy. The feud had officially crossed into full-blown warfare. As the beef continued to escalate, it began to affect those around Yella Beezy and MO3. In January 2020, MO3's manager, Brandon Rainwater, was brutally attacked outside the V Live strip club in Dallas. Surveillance footage showed Yella Beezy and his entourage chasing Rainwater, pulling him to the ground and beating him in the middle of the street. Rainwater was left with a dislocated hip and later sued Yella Beezy for $1 million in damages. MO3 reacted to the attack on his manager in an Instagram Live session, mocking Yella Beezy and his crew for jumping a scary man instead of handling their real issues.
Let me say this first. Rainwater, my manager, it's not no street. Let me say it again. Rainwater, my manager, is not no street. He graduated high school and went to college, sir. Sir, you get what I'm saying?
But the attack on Rainwater was a clear indication that the beef had reached a dangerous new level, and it was only a matter of time before things would take an even darker turn. The death of MO3, the murder of MO3, The feud between MO3 and Yella Beezy had
Damn, I forgot
escalated
my
for
man was
years,
dead.
but no one expected it to end in such a tragic and brutal manner. On November 11th, 2020, MO3's life was cut short in a shocking ambush that played out in broad daylight on one of Dallas's busiest highways. That morning, MO3 was driving along Interstate 35 near the Dallas Zoo, reportedly after leaving a female companion's house. Unbeknownst to him, two assassins had been tracking his every move, following him in a black Chevrolet Camaro. Their mission was clear. MO3 wasn't meant to make it out alive. As he continued down the highway, the black Camaro suddenly pulled up beside him. It was a planned attack, one that had been carefully executed with precision. Realizing he was being followed, MO3 swerved to the right, slamming his brakes in an attempt to escape. But in the middle of a busy freeway, he had nowhere to go. Dashcam footage later revealed the harrowing final moments of MO3's life. Instead of driving off, he stepped out of his car and rushed toward the passenger's side, seemingly attempting to retrieve something, likely a gun, from the glove box. But he never got the chance. A masked gunman, armed with an assault rifle, jumped out of the Camaro and charged toward MO3's vehicle. With no weapon in hand, MO3 made a split-second decision to run for his life. He sprinted down the highway, dodging between moving cars as desperate drivers tried to avoid the unfolding chaos. But the assassin was faster. Gunshots rang out. In a matter of seconds, MO3 was struck 9 times, collapsing onto the pavement as the masked shooter fled back to the Camaro. The getaway car sped off, leaving MO3 bleeding out in the middle of the freeway. For several agonizing minutes, his body lay motionless as stunned witnesses looked on. Traffic came to a standstill. Civilians rushed to his side, with one bystander administering CPR in a desperate attempt to save his life, but it was too late. News helicopters captured chilling aerial footage of the aftermath. MO3's lifeless body was sprawled across the highway, surrounded by law enforcement as they secured the scene. Soon after, local news stations began broadcasting reports of the brazen assassination. MO3 was only 28 years old. His death shocked the rap world, leaving fans, family, and friends devastated. What had started as a rap beef had turned into a deadly street war, one that claimed the life of one of Dallas's most talented artists. But the story didn't end there. MO3's murder sent ripples through the city of Dallas, and while his fans mourned, his enemies wasted no time adding fuel to the fire. Mere minutes after the freeway shooting, Trap Boy Freddy posted a video to his Instagram story, appearing to be stuck in the traffic jam caused by MO3's death.
Man, whoever got the motherfucking freeway blocked out need to get y'all together, dog. God damn.
Sirens blared in the background as he casually remarked, "Freeway blocked out." Many quickly pointed out that Freddy's location in the post was just minutes away from where MO3's body lay lifeless on the road. To make matters worse, Freddy also posted tributes to his own fallen friends right after MO3's murder, then later claimed it was time to celebrate. Meanwhile, Yella Beezy went live on Instagram, and his comment section exploded with accusations. Fans flooded his feed, demanding to know whether he had a hand in MO3's death. Rather than respond directly, Beezy played dumb, acting as if he had no idea what people were talking about. 𝗗𝗢𝗡 also joined in on the mockery, responding to a Facebook post where someone said they wished it was him who had been killed instead. His response? "I'm gonna live forever." He added the hashtag #MurderGang, making it clear he had no sympathy for MO3's passing. Although there was no direct evidence linking Yella Beezy, Trap Boy Freddy, or 𝗗𝗢𝗡 to MO3's assassination, their reactions painted a grim picture. The way they relished in his death only fueled speculation that they had inside knowledge of the hit, and for many of MO3's supporters, these taunts were enough to justify immediate retaliation. Within days, violence erupted across Dallas. Reports surfaced that as many as 8 people had been killed in the chaos that followed MO3's death. While some claimed these were unrelated incidents, others believed they were direct acts of revenge. The situation escalated so much that even Boozy, MO3's mentor and frequent collaborator, found himself in the crossfire. Boozy had traveled to Dallas to attend a vigil for MO3, but while there, he was shot in the leg. The attack sent a chilling message. No one was safe, not even those simply mourning the fallen rapper. Though Boozy survived, the shooting confirmed just how dangerous the situation had become. As violence gripped the city, the Dallas Police Department ramped up their investigation into MO3's murder. With public pressure mounting and MO3's name dominating headlines, authorities worked swiftly to track down those responsible. Their break in the case came on December 10th, 2020, when they made their first arrest. A 22-year-old aspiring rapper named 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, better known as FTG Banzo Bling, was taken into custody and charged in connection with MO3's murder. Court documents revealed that White's involvement had been exposed through an anonymous tip, along with critical evidence, likely cell phone data, that placed him at the scene of the crime. But White hadn't exactly been discreet before his arrest. Just 2 days before MO3's murder, he had posted a picture on Instagram holding stacks of cash and a rifle, captioning it, "He put a bag on him, now I'm up." The post, in hindsight, seemed to reference a payment he had allegedly received for carrying out the hit. Then, just 2 weeks after the murder, White was seen flaunting large amounts of cash at a jewelry store. store. Surveillance images also linked a car matching the one used in MO3's killing to a location connected to White. Even after being locked up, White continued to play into his reputation. He previewed new music from jail, including lyrics that alluded to spraying bullets from a car. But what really caught attention was his connection to Yella Beezy.
Man, you live that way, you live by the gun, you're going to get yourself in trouble. I ain't going to say you live by the gun, you die by the gun. You live by the gun and getting in videos showing them guns and all that stuff. That's the type of life you want to live? Yeah, that's the type of life I want to live. All right, here you go. Here's your jail cell. We got your number on it.
Beezy. Shortly after his arrest, play into his reputation. He previewed new music from jail, including lyrics that alluded to spraying bullets from a car. But what really caught attention was his connection to Yella Beezy. Shortly after his arrest, photos surfaced online showing White hanging out with the Dallas rapper. Despite these incriminating links, Yella Beezy didn't seem concerned. As 2020 came to a close, he posted on Instagram, celebrating the end of the year with a chilling message. He was putting his haters in the dirt. The bold statement only intensified suspicions that he knew more about MO3's murder than he was letting on. The following month, White gave an interview from jail. He brushed off the accusations against him, saying that this was simply what comes with being a gangster. Shockingly, he admitted that his brother, 𝗗𝗢𝗡𝗞𝗦, had informed him about how famous he had become since being named a suspect in MO3's killing. His Instagram following had skyrocketed from under 1,000 to more than 18,000. When asked if he was finally ready for fame, he just laughed. Despite his public persona, White denied having any real connection to Yella Beezy. However, the authorities weren't done building their case. On April 23, 2021, police announced a second arrest. Devin Maurice Brown, another Dallas native, was charged in connection with the murder. Reports suggested that Brown had personal grievances with MO3, possibly over a woman. Investigators found that he had contacted multiple people in the hours leading up to MO3's murder, seemingly tracking his movements. Phone records also revealed extensive communication between Brown and White, further solidifying the theory that the two had plotted the killing together. When police raided Brown's home, they discovered an illegal AK-47 in his closet, $3,200 in cash, and various illicit substances. The pieces were finally coming together, and authorities were now confident that they had their main suspect. But 4 years later, the case has now been blown open with Yella Beezy's arrest after, with many fans who had long accused Beezy of being behind the murder being vindicated. Thankfully, it also looks like the family of MO3 will finally be getting answers with the arrest of Yella. For more content like this, click on the videos showing on your screen now.
Oh my goodness, we gotta do that one, man. Hey, this is I think he made bail, man, so he's out, but he still gotta, you know, go through the whole thing. God dang, man, I'm just hearing about all this. I'm learning as I go. I don't even really know who Yella Beezy is, but we're gonna do more of his videos and stuff. Y'all let me know in the comments, man. I gotta catch up first. So, hey, y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.